What if I told you your car might not survive another 50,000 miles? And the warning signs are already there, hiding in plain sight. The crazy part? Most drivers ignore them until it's too late. Your transmission could be hanging by a thread. Your engine, one oil change away from destruction. But here's the kicker. A few simple checks could save you thousands in repairs and maybe even your life. Stick around, because the #1 sign is so subtle. By the time you notice it, the damage is already done. 1. Hard cold starts. Your engines cry for help. If your engine groans or hesitates every time you start it in the morning, that's not just old age. It's a major red flag. Cold starts stress your engine more than any other part of the day. And if your car struggles to fire up, it could be a sign of worn-out spark plugs, weak ignition coils, or even low compression. In high-mileage vehicles, oil drains off critical components overnight. If you're still using the wrong viscosity or skimping on synthetic blends, your engine's internals grind dry on every cold start. What's worse? Hard starts often mean your battery is on its last legs, and a weak battery can fry electronics or fail when you need it most. Mechanics agree. If your engine isn't starting smoothly in under 2 seconds, get it checked. 2. Transmission hesitation, the invisible killer. You press the gas, but your car takes a second to respond. That delay, it's not just annoying, it's your transmission begging for attention. Transmission hesitation, slipping between gears, or jerky shifts are clear indicators of worn-out fluid, failing solenoids, or internal clutch damage. And here's what most people don't know. Transmissions rarely fail instantly. They die slowly, over thousands of miles, while giving off subtle clues. Ignore them, you're looking at a rebuild costing $2,500 to $5,000. Want your car to survive another 50,000? Have your transmission fluid checked every 30,000 miles. Yes, even if it's labeled lifetime, because no fluid lasts forever under pressure. 3. Uneven tire wear, alignment, or suspension trouble. Grab a flashlight and check your tires. Are the edges worn down more than the center? Are there bald spots or feathering? That's not just a tire problem. It's a symptom of bigger issues. Uneven tire wear means your alignment is off, or your suspension components are wearing out. Bad struts, bushings, or tie rods can make your tires suffer, and when tires go, everything else follows. Poor braking, unstable handling, and even frame stress. Rotating your tires isn't enough. You need to fix the root cause. High-mileage cars with untreated alignment issues tend to wear tires twice as fast, and replacements aren't cheap. 4. Mysterious drops in fuel economy. If your fuel economy suddenly dips and you haven't changed your driving habits, it's time to investigate. Modern engines use complex sensors, oxygen sensors, mass airflow sensors, and fuel trim calculations to maintain efficiency. When any of these components begin to drift out of spec, your engine starts burning more fuel to compensate. That doesn't just cost you at the pump. It stresses your catalytic converter and increases carbon buildup in the combustion chamber. Scan for codes even if no warning light appears. A $50 sensor fix today could prevent a $1,500 emissions failure tomorrow. 5. Coolant discoloration or low levels, the silent overheat. Pop the hood. Open your coolant reservoir, only when cold. Is the fluid clear and bright or murky and brown? Discolored coolant signals internal corrosion, possibly from a deteriorating radiator or a blown head gasket letting combustion gases into the coolant system. If you're topping off coolant often but can't see a leak, it might be escaping into the engine. And that's a recipe for disaster. Engine overheats are one of the fastest ways to kill a car under 50,000 miles. Don't wait for steam from the hood. If the coolant isn't clean or the level drops regularly, investigate immediately. Absolutely. Here's part 2 of the script for title: Warning signs your car won't survive the next 50,000 miles. 6. Burning smells after driving, a sign of fluid leaks or overheating components. Ever park your car and notice a faint burning smell? That's not something to brush off. In high-mileage vehicles, this could point to valve cover gasket leaks dripping oil onto hot engine parts, or transmission fluid leaking near the exhaust. These smells usually mean one thing: your seals or hoses are deteriorating. The longer you ignore them, the greater the risk of a fire, catastrophic failure, or completely draining your essential fluids. Mechanics report that more than 60% of engine fires start from ignored minor leaks. Pay attention to the scent. Burnt oil smells different from burnt coolant or fried plastic wiring. Each gives clues to the system under stress. Don't mask it with air fresheners. Track it down and fix it. 7. Hesitation or jerking during acceleration, fuel, or ignition issues. When you hit the gas and your car lurches, stutters, or feels like it's hesitating, especially under load, you're dealing with a combustion imbalance. This often points to failing ignition coils, clogged injectors, dirty throttle bodies, or worn-out spark plugs. For high-mileage vehicles, even minor misfires can snowball into expensive catalytic converter failure, which costs $1,000 plus to replace. The key is early detection. Don't wait for the check engine light. If your car doesn't accelerate smoothly, scan for misfire codes and check fuel trims. And here's the shocking part. Many mechanics say this kind of rough running is one of the top 5 reasons people prematurely give up on cars that still had life in them. 8. Noisy suspension. The chassis is crying. Do you hear clunks, rattles, or squeaks over bumps? That's your suspension calling for help. High mileage suspensions often suffer from worn-out shocks, struts, control arms, and sway bar links. These components affect handling, braking, and tire wear. If you ignore these sounds, you risk failing an inspection, or worse, losing control during evasive driving. A quick bounce test can reveal sagging shocks. Push down on your car's fender. If it bounces more than once, it's worn. Replacing suspension parts might cost $300 to $800, but ignoring them could lead to frame damage or a complete steering failure, especially in older vehicles. 9. Dashboard lights, flickering or random electrical glitches. If your radio resets, your gauges flicker, or your lights dim when idling, you may be facing an electrical system on the verge of collapse. This could be due to a weak alternator, dying battery, or corroded grounds, all of which are common in cars over 100,000 miles. Many drivers blame the battery, but the real culprit is often poor voltage regulation or dirty terminals. Electrical problems are sneaky. They might seem minor at first, but can lead to no-start conditions, ECU failure, or even fried wiring harnesses that cost thousands to replace. Don't wait for a complete blackout. If your dashboard looks haunted, act now. 10. Vibration or wobbling at certain speeds. If your steering wheel wobbles or your car feels like it's shaking at highway speeds, you could be dealing with unbalanced wheels, bent rims, or even failing wheel bearings. More seriously, this can mean warped brake rotors or driveline issues. And any vibration is more than just a comfort problem. It causes accelerated wear on suspension, tires, and even the engine mounts. If the vibration is speed-specific, it's likely wheel or tire related. If it changes during braking, it's probably your rotors. And if it gets worse the longer you drive, you may have a bad CV joint or drive shaft. Always fix vibrations early. Small shakes can shake your whole car apart over time. 11th, delayed braking response or spongy pedal feel. A high-mileage car that doesn't brake like it used to is dangerous. Period. Spongy pedals often mean air or moisture in the brake lines, which dramatically reduces braking power. Grinding noises, that means your pads are gone and your rotors are being shredded. Worse yet, if your ABS light is on, you might not have traction control during emergency stops. Brake fluid should be flushed every 2 to 3 years, but almost nobody does it. Yet brake fade is one of the most common causes of high-speed crashes in aging cars. If your braking feels different in any way, fix it before the road teaches you a lesson you can't undo. 12th, excessive oil consumption without a leak. If you're constantly topping off your oil, but you don't see a puddle on the ground, you may be burning oil internally. High-mileage engines often develop worn piston rings or valve seals. This lets oil slip into the combustion chamber where it burns off silently. No smoke, no codes, no warning. This is why many engines die even after regular oil changes. Drivers don't realize they're running low between intervals. Check your dipstick every 1,000 miles. If the level keeps dropping, it's time to use high-mileage oil. Consider heavier viscosity, or, if it's bad, start budgeting for an overhaul. 13. Whining or humming that increases with speed. If you hear a high-pitched hum or whine that gets louder with speed, not engine RPM, you're likely dealing with a bad wheel bearing or differential. These components are easy to ignore until they seize or explode. High-mileage drivetrains, especially in vehicles with poor maintenance records, are prone to gear and bearing wear. Left unchecked, a failing bearing can heat up and lock, potentially causing an accident. Check for noise while driving at steady speeds. If it disappears when you coast in neutral, it's drivetrain related. If it's always there, especially when turning, it's likely a wheel bearing. This is one breakdown you don't want happening at highway speed. Every one of these signs is your car's way of asking for help. Ignore them, and you'll face costly repairs or a total breakdown long before your odometer hits the next big milestone. But here's the good news. By catching these early and taking action, your car could easily survive another 50,000, even 100,000 miles. So now the question is, how many of these signs is your car showing right now? Drop a comment below with your number. Are you guilty of missing any of these red flags? Smash that like button if you learned something new. And don't forget to subscribe for more no BS car care advice straight from the pros. Stay smart, stay safe, and drive with confidence.